Well, just as everybody thought for week two, the elite performers of the week were C.J. Stroud, Raheem Mostert, and Mike Evans. That can't be right. Here to explain what the hell happened are your hosts, Bird and Berg.
What's up, guys? Wait a minute? Hold on. Are you wearing a Kittle jersey? Are you wearing a Vernon jersey?
I am wearing a Kittle jersey.
It used to be a Vernon jersey, but like that's dope. That's dope. That's a good look.
I played tight end in high school, so I like that position on the football field. Solid
Uh,
athletes.
Tell us more about the positions you like, Birdman.
Um, I like defensive end. I like the ends.
Okay.
it looks the ends.
Pause.
He's committing. He's still committing to the bit. Um, welcome everyone to the Bird and Berg Show, episode 3. We've made it. We're still not streaming because of some issue. Well, look, I blame the government, but we're just gonna jump right into some other bad takes, not just that one. Um, and we will let's circle around with my co-hosts, Birdman and Miss Dan says that himself, Dan Morgan. So let's kick this off. What is actually, after everything that we saw last weekend, and now we're going into week 3, what is your worst? What is your worst take regarding week 2? Birdman, kick it off.
Week 2, I did expect Deshaun Watson to have returned to form a little quicker. I think their defenses met my expectations, but Watson in general does not just seem like the same guy. He does have some flashes here and there, making some good plays, but his processing time and feel for the game just does not seem to be there. So I would say that probably. How about you, Berg?
I'm trying so hard to not
First,
make a
hold on,
Watson
for our
flashes
listeners.
joke.
Yeah, well, Dan, do you want to tell our listeners how much liability, not number wise, but just how much we've heard about Deshaun Watson's rise from about Birdman to give context?
I don't want to talk about any rise from Deshaun Watson, and I'm sure that man has plenty of liability. These are all trigger words if you're talking about Deshaun Watson.
Browns are still making the playoffs. That defense is you can write that one down.
Browns defense.
That defense is going to. They're competent enough that defense will keep them in every single game. And I do think listen. I'm going to die on the hill. I just told you guys before we jumped on here. If by week 6 or week 7, Watson just absolutely just stinks, then I will jump off the hill and I will fade them.
But you only have to
pre-buy
15 games, but sure.
Yeah.
Look, their defense was set number 2 DVA according to FTN's DVOA. They were the second best defense via DVOA in the first week, and they were third in the second week. So yeah, that defense is legit.
Adam, that's a lot of letters for a casual fan. Can you explain quickly what that means?
DVDA. It's you guys haven't seen Orgasmo? That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. That one I know.
No, it's basically it's a nerd metric that is essentially how good something is doing based on the quality of opponent and some other things. So, but look, I hear a lot of nerds talk about it, and so I just like to say it, and it makes me sound really smart. Dan, what is your worst take regarding the results from last weekend?
Well, I don't know if this is a terrible take, so I wrote 2 down just to make sure one of them's bad, even though I think they're both great. That Seahawks-Lions game would make for a great Super Bowl. I don't think either of them make the playoffs, which is why I think it could be considered a bad take. They're also in the same conference, so I know that can't happen. But I love a good shootout. And let's pat ourselves on the back, Adam, for a minute, because we absolutely nailed that being the highest scoring game of the slate.
Yes, we did. That was awesome. I've never hit that bet before. And that was awesome. Perfectly capped.
It was brought to our attention that the Chiefs-Jags game was the favorite, and I was just like, no, absolutely not that. Let me take a look at what there is, and saw that, and I'm like, 2 teams with great offenses and really no defenses in a dome, slinging it, absolutely playing that. So that was very fun to monitor for the day.
I think the Chiefs game was actually one of the lowest scoring games.
It definitely
if not
was
the,
through the early window, and I was like, I wonder what the odds were on them to be the lowest scoring game. That should have been the cap. I think we missed
that should
that
actually
one.
be the blind bet. The blind bet should
The
be
bet the highest scoring game to
that's
be
the
the
highest
lowest.
scoring game. Is the yeah.
That's,
or
I
at
love
least
that.
if there's like one defense in the matchup that is favored. Like the Chiefs defense is solid this year, so it's like if there is one defense that can dictate the pace, like fading that would actually be pretty.
Yeah,
awesome.
we're gonna have to dive into this. I really like this. We have to.
Because if
I like this. I like
because
this
I know
angle.
for a fact if that Lions Seahawks was the favorite,
Uh-huh.
you wouldn't fade that game because neither defense
Right.
is even
Yeah,
remotely
No,
good.
correct.
no,
If that was
no.
the favorite, I probably still would have bet it. I think I would have bet that game no matter what. But my other take, if it matters, is that the Niners are frauds. Tonight's game going on right now is not helping me, but also the Giants are frauds, so this still doesn't count. So, as far as like, oh, they've only beat these people, the Niners haven't beat anybody, and they'll still get smoked by the Eagles. Go Birds!
Shout out to Ronnie Bell and a Ronnie Bell first touchdown bet that I got from Sean Green, 40-1. So we're free rolling the rest of the game.
Now do your thing, Adam.
Dude, it's a good bet. My worst take is that the Broncos should be backed every week. This
There it
actually is
is.
a carryover take from last year that involved also the Colts and the Saints, but this year it only involves the Broncos. I know Birdman has some Broncos things he feels, but like, look, man, Broncos give you a ton of reasons to be down on them, and if you really want to dive in the dumpster like I do every week, every day, really, then the Broncos are a team to back every week, and if things break their way, they could even win the division. So,
I don't think it's that bad of a take, but I mean, who do you like in the Broncos Dolphins game this week?
wait, is that I didn't want to scoop if that's like I like the Broncos.
Exactly.
So it's
I'm there with you.
dude, they started off with 2 home games that they could not they really couldn't put together a full game, but now that they go on the road, we'll see what
they
happens.
stink.
They do stink. All right. So give me real quick, give me a dog of all the dogs that are happening this weekend that you like. Actually, I mean, I'll start off with mine. A dog that you like this weekend, and quickly why. And my dog is the Broncos. I like the Broncos going to Miami. With Miami looking ahead to Buffalo, and Sean Payton proving that there was no home field advantage in Denver. We just all need to go to Miami, and they can win a game. That's my favorite dog this weekend.
I'm gonna put a fart noise on the soundboard every time you talk about Denver the rest of the season.
Dude, last year was really bad. Remember?
Maybe Sean Payton just needs to adjust to the altitude himself. He's not used to it.
All right, fine. That's the best excuse I've heard so far. So fair enough.
Russell Wilson has played better overall.
Sure, better is relative for the record.
Who's your fave that you like?
The best fave that I like is probably honestly probably the Ravens. I just like because it's like I like the Texans to do a lot more until CJ Stroud popped up as limited on the injury report. It kind of scared me off a little bit. I still think that game is like 31-21 because I think the Texans are just an over team. But like I like the Ravens, and I like chalk on them this weekend.
Yeah, I do like the Ravens as well as my fave.
They're your fave. They're your favorite fave.
They're my favorite fave. Yeah,
the Raves are your fave. The Raves are your fave.
They're my flavor fave. Yeah, I mean the Colts have a few injuries. Anthony Richardson. I think
our Colts. Thank you.
Yeah, our Colts. I just think you give Harbaugh the time to prep for Gardner Minshew offense. They won't be able to run the ball because the Ravens have a great run D, as well as the Colts rushing offense is non-existent currently. So if you're forcing Gardner Minshew to pass, I just think Ravens lock it up pretty easily. My favorite dog would be the Saints this week. Kind of a short dog. I guess it's not the same as the Broncos over 2-1, but Aaron Jones was limited. He could go. It's a hamstring, so re-aggravation risk is there. Watson didn't practice today, so they still don't have him. I just don't think that they're going to be that dynamic. I think the Saints will be able to run the ball just like the Falcons did last week. And Chris Olave has just been pretty phenomenal, even with Derek Carr missing him with the chemistry early.
Chris Olave's that dude.
He really is, dude.
And we were all on him early last season as a rookie too.
I'm pretty sure you guys bet that one team special that I took Olave 75 plus and eight or more games
this year.
Yeah, it was one of those like TJ Watt specials, plus
I don't think
175.
I don't think I have that. I should have. But
He he hit it in the
Oh,
first
that was a
two.
good one.
It hit in the first two already.
Well, they lead the league. They have 2 of the top 4 receivers for ADOT. Another nerd statistic, but like Rashid Shaheed and Olave are like in the top 5 route runners of like, I think ADOT means you run really far.
Yeah,
and get
average
the ball
depth
in
of
the air.
target. Yeah,
Yeah.
The Saints defense has been solid too. But Dan, do you have a favorite dog and favorite?
I unfortunately do not have that Olave bet for the record. So the dog that I like is the Titans because the Browns stink. You've heard me say it enough, and I'm absolutely throwing shade here, but I will explain later. A reason I like that is it is part of my 3 best bets, so I'll leave that for then. The favorite I like is Seattle, coming off that shootout with Detroit. I watched more of the Saints-Panthers game than I would care to admit on Monday night, but I couldn't watch that Steelers-Browns game because it was trash because the Browns are terrible and the Steelers are terrible too, actually. That Carolina defense looked pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I don't think I could name a player on that defense, but they looked pretty good. I think that they'll give Seattle a bit of a hard time as far as Seattle's offense goes, but Carolina can't score points. Their offense stinks. Miles Sanders stinks.
The Red Rocket this week.
They are trying to. They're gonna kill Adam Thielen, trying to use him as a number 1 receiver when he's like 36 years old. So I think Seattle will end up, putting up enough points to win that game. But I really just wanted to say that I think the Carolina defense is actually pretty decent, to be honest.
It honestly,
it is.
It really
Even
is.
with the injuries, I think they're really good. They are good. The metrics show.
They got Brian Burns is like their stud. Derek Brown inside's nice. Those are some guys I want to target for sacks because Seattle still is dealing with their tackles being out. And they got Andy Dalton running the ship, though.
I'm pretty sure I've lost every sack prop this year, and I don't want to do it anymore.
But for the Panthers, like, is Andy Dalton right with the way Bryce Young's playing? Is Andy Dalton worse than Bryce Young? Like,
did you see
I don't think
how
so.
they won't run quarterback sneaks with him, and they bring in Dalton to do it, and it's a mess.
Yeah.
Do they really been doing that?
Yes, they've been doing it, and it's funny because Jalen Hurts squats 600 pounds, and I think that Bryce.
Dude, Jacoby Brissett is like 70 years old and literally gets brought in to do that, and they're not trusting a rookie. Wow, I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, they did it a couple times.
He's just too small. It makes sense. Like it's his rookie season.
He's like 5'10", 200 pounds, if that.
Yeah.
I read an article about that today.
Also, Frank Wright stinks.
Yeah, he does.
You hate him.
Like if Kellen Moore was his coach, I guarantee that Bryce Young would find a way to ball.
I just think the receivers are so bad that I don't think you could give them like anyone and they're not getting separation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't even think they used Hurst a lot when they could have. And see, that's the thing. Like on that game, like I like Seattle to pick off Andy Dalton, but I like Andy Dalton to manage the game way more than I like Bryce Young to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably a big Chuba Hubbard game, isn't it? Because
there will never be a big Chuba Hubbard game again.
Yeah.
Until Miles Sanders loses his job.
Oh, he'll lose his job, and then Chuba Hubbard will be just as bad.
Probably. That O-line isn't great. I guess we can just kick it off. Berg, what's your first best bet?
My first best bet.
Can we recap last week?
Do you want to recap?
Oh yeah, we can recap last week.
Yeah. Recap them.
Yeah, so we
I finally won one.
You know I hate victory lapping anyway.
You got on the board. Yeah, we love victory lapping. So
we got to.
So we're
using hard-earned money. You should victory lap it if you win it. You know.
We went 5-4 last, or we're 5-4 overall. Yeah, 5-4 last week. I'm sorry.
Last week.
And then so for the season, I'm 3-3. BM is 4-2. Berg, you're on the board at 1-5. So how are you getting back on track this week?
Well, I'm taking all your guys' bets and then I'm betting them as mine. All right, here's how I'm getting back on the board. I know Birdman, you have a different angle on this one. But we both love stuff in the same game. I love the Lions this weekend. I did not understand right out of the gate why that line got steamed down, injuries or whatnot, because the reality is that the offensive skill injuries were still showing a total that was going up. Lions by 3. I'm on Raw practice today. I love them. And look, Desmond Ridder stinks. I'll let you talk about other stuff with it, but that's my first one. So, or do you want me to go all three?
No, we'll go one by one. I'll just
Okay, cool.
piggyback
I
off.
love the Lions by 3. So then, what do you like?
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback off you. I took the Lions in the first half, -1.5, -110 FanDuel. Last year they were 12-4-1 ATS in the first half, 7-2 at home.
Stats.
Yeah, this year they're 1-1. The one win being at home. Falcons 5-12 ATS first half last year. Most of that wasn't with Ritter, but I've absolutely hated the Falcons' play calling in the first half.
Oh, save it! I got it. Don't worry.
Wait till in your DMs.
Yeah. So I've hated their play calling in the first half of games. It's their first road game of the year for Ritter. And like you said, Amon-Ra should be good to go. But the other thing that a lot of people haven't really thought about is this is the first game that it's just Gibbs, right? And they have like Craig Reynolds or some other random running back. The Falcons have no idea how they're going to utilize Gibbs. There's not that much film on him. So they could come out with some game plan where they get him involved different ways. And Lions have just put up a lot of points in the first half over the past 2 years, averaging like 14 at home this year, I'm sorry. They were third in the whole league at home in the first half, so I expect them to build a lead in this one. DM? Is your bet for this game? No. I know we love betting the Falcons on this show.
No, absolutely not. And actually, I think I'd shell shock a little bit because when you said that, I looked at my first play and I saw B. Robinson. And I'm like, oh no, did I do it like subconsciously and I didn't even remember? But I have to stay with B. Robinson, but I am off of Bijan at this point. I'm taking Brian Robinson over 56.5 rushing yards. Last I saw earlier today, this was basically even money on Caesar. Most books have it about -115, so whatever, get it where you want, but Caesar was the best line. He's hit this in 9 straight. He's averaged 80.4 yards over that span. I'm also taking him on Caesars for 75 plus at plus 225. I do not like the 100 plus odds anywhere. He's only done that once in his career, but he has routinely gone over 75, so I like him over 56.5 and a sprinkle on 75 plus.
I love that because I also like the Commanders in that game like a lot.
I was saying that to BM before we started. I said, is it weird that I actually think I kind of like them outright?
They were my second favorite dog, to be honest. Like I love that play. By the way, quick reminder that Brian Robinson got effing shot and was not comeback player of the year last year.
I bet it. I was pretty adamant
wasn't
on
that
it.
the thing? We were doing research about like, can you win it in your
can
first
you win
season?
It? Yeah,
in your rookie year.
I think we all had it, and I think they came out and said you can't, right?
Well,
my local did not respect that viewing. He still took my $50.
Yes, some places, FanDuel, they like marked it a loss, and we had to hit up support, and finally they were like, a rookie can't win it,
right?
And. Okay. Yeah, so that was like the main thing because it was like, how do you not give it to the guy?
Yeah,
it was 8 weeks
been
went
taking
by.
money for it. It's like
then they voided it out anyway.
All right. Well, while I have your attention, I'll give you another one to kick off
our
second round.
Yeah, do it.
Keenan Allen over 22.5 yards for his longest reception, which is -110 on DraftKings, but also widely available. He's hit this in 7 straight. His average longest reception over that time span is 30.7 yards. You factor in the Vikings defense, it was 31st in passing yards given up last year, and a game that figures to be a shootout with a total of 54. I think Keenan Allen has a big day. I will also get back to him later.
Love Keenan Allen. That game should be a shootout. Right?
That's Birdman's second favorite. That's Birdman's favorite player, not named Deshaun Watson. Is Keenan Allen.
Hey, I bet him to score last week against that Titans defense.
Do you want to tell everyone right now a bonus bet that's a future that's still out there that's probably the same price?
I think it is still the same price.
Go, tell them. Tell the people.
Yeah, I mean, I took Keenan Allen to have the most receiving touchdowns in the league. 40-1 DraftKings. He had 2 last week. He was, I think the leader in the whole NFL, I think, is Tyreek Hill with 3. So 1 back in a pass-heavy offense that, as of right now, Eckler's still banged up. Should be back soon, but if he misses even more time, it's going to be a pass-heavy offense. They can't hold a lead. Defense just stinks, even though on paper they have a talented defensive roster. So if they're in, the more shootouts they're in, he's their number 1 guy. Kellen Moore's system, I think he can keep pace as long as he stays healthy, which is always the thing with him. But 40-1, that's worth a free bet if you got one out there. If you don't, $5, whatever.
What book was that?
DraftKings had the best, I'm
DK.
pretty sure.
Yeah, I took that too. I think it's his injuries are definitely baked into that number, but like doesn't matter because he could get 2 touchdowns. He could finish with 13, 14.
You can't bet on or against injuries, you know? Like,
yeah, I agree.
it's just not part of like the process. If it is, like, you either are a doctor and you just know, or you're just full of shit.
I'm a doctor of thugonomics. Does that count?
Yeah.
Ooh, no, he's coming back. He came back
He's back.
last week.
I mean, you can't see him, but he's back.
You can't see him though.
You want to go to the second one, Berg?
Yeah. So I know this is a guy who you're a big fan of for his receiving, and I'm actually it's part of that cap. I'm probably very big onto under the rushing on Rashad White, Tampa Bay Bucks, under 47.5. I don't know why this number is even the number that it is. Under in 8 of his last 10, 4 of his last 5 at home. Eagles have the 5th best rushing defense last year. They have the 4th best defense rushing according to DVDA or DVOA. They haven't even allowed more than 28 on the ground. It's they've been getting gashed by receiving running backs, but they don't give up. They haven't given up yards on the ground in like years. That's just a obscenely high number against an Eagles front that is the only part of the Eagles that has not gotten injured. So yeah, Rashad White under 47.5 rush yards. It's widely available. I like it down to 42. But it's honestly it's going up. So you just wait.
Am I going to make an entire Orgasmo soundboard for you now?
Oh man, what a movie!
What a movie!
I do like that one though, Berg. I mean, the Bucks offensive line isn't really that great in general, so I think our D line dominates that front. I don't expect him. He would have to break a big run. I don't think he's going to have 15 carries getting 4 or 5 a carry. It's gonna.
He'd have to have an at least 12-yard run to make that happen.
I would think even more than that, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think it's a favorable game script in most scenarios. But I'll go with my second one. I took Josh Allen over 30.5 rushing yards, -110 bet 365, -120 MGM or DK. He's hit this in 8 of 9 away games dating back to last year, averaging 51.8 rushing yards per game. He did hit it in game 1 at the Jets. He's going up against a solid defense. Commanders have the second best sack percentage through 2 games this season. He only ran the ball 3 times last week, which is extremely low for him. In those 9 away games, he had 6+ rushing attempts in all of them. So I do expect Washington to get some pressure. I think Josh Allen, he likes to use his legs to make plays, likes to be the hero. I think this is a pretty good buy low spot for him. You're getting probably a 5-yard discount to what his normal line would be in a normal game. So
that Commanders defense is for real, and that D line is really good. So there's definitely the potential for him to have to scramble. So I actually really, really like that.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't James Cook pop up on the injury report or something?
James Cook did pop up in the injury report. Who's the backup for?
They have Latavius Murray and Damian Harris.
Yeah, but they've been using Latavius strictly in the goal line.
Yeah, and Harris is kind of in the 2.
I don't like it. James Cook is the only one that's actually dynamic. So if they're gonna have to make a big play, I just think I think he's gonna be the one doing it.
I need him to play.
And on top of that,
he also hasn't had that big rush game yet.
And on top of it, to help both me and Dan's rushing yards, it's supposed to be a tropical storm or whatever that's supposed to hit that game in Washington. So if it's bad weather as well.
Listen, man, Brian Robinson got shot at tropical storm. Ain't gonna mess with him. Don't worry about him.
That's true.
And they played many men when he came back.
Dan, what do you got?
All right, my last play is going after the Browns and how much they stink. Derrick Henry over 89.5 all-purpose yards, so rushing plus receiving, -115. He's done so in 6 straight going back to last year. He's facing last year's 25th ranked run defense, who has yet to face a team that knows how to use a running back. Joe Mixon had 75 yards on 16 touches. Jalen Warren, the backup, had 86 yards on 10 touches. For context, Derrick Henry has 40 rushes already this season and 5 receptions on 7 targets, so he is going to eat touches, and there will be no shortage of yards for him, and the Browns stink. Go Titans.
I also think that they don't want to put Tannehill in harm's way because...
I don't think they want to put Tannehill on the field. I don't know why they keep doing it.
Didn't he have a good game last week?
He did, but that Chargers defense is
good as relative.
Good as relative, and the Chargers defense is just not has not
Yes,
performed well.
correct.
Like I had big hopes for that D line for the Chargers, but I just think that, if Tannehill's throwing against the Browns, we saw that like they absolutely demolished the Steelers.
We thought
The Watson gave
we
away
were
that
so
game.
sharp.
We are sharp. Fuck that.
Yeah, we are.
No, dude, our Khalil Mack like lead the league in sacks. We thought we were so sharp with that one, and like this Chargers
and he has
front line
0
is
so
like
far.
Whatever.
It's
When
like
Jalen
MIA
Carter
and
wins
everybody's
Defensive
hurt.
Rookie of the Year, we'll forget about all that.
Dude,
that's
I'm
true.
betting
That's
Mack
also true.
sack again. I don't care.
Do it,
The
you
odds are
gotta.
going to keep going up, and eventually he's going to hit. It's going to be over 2-1, and I just keep going against these bad offensive lines. I'm like, yeah, sure, you can do it. Oh, the left tackle's out for the Dolphins. Chargers had 0 sacks in week 1. I'm like, all right. Like Bosa did get 2 last week, but like, what are we doing here?
All right, Adam, give the people what they want. Kicker props.
Oh yeah, Dicker the kicker,
Dicker the
Cameron Dicker,
kicker.
former Eagle, we had a game-winning kick against the Cardinals last year. Over 1.5 field goals. He's the Chargers kicker. At even money. I believe it was even money on Caesars. I got to check which book, but it's around even money. He's hit this in 7 of 10, 4 straight. Vikings 30th in field goals allowed. Last year, they're consistently still allowing field goals. This year, it's in a dome. There's not a lot to not like, and the guy's last name is Dicker. So like the child in me loves this.
Yeah, I mean, and again, Eckler's still probably out. I don't mind Josh Kelly, especially against this Vikings D that Swift just dominated, but he's still not as dynamic as Eckler. So all you need is just, a couple third downs that he would, like Eckler would get the first down, but Josh Kelly wouldn't. And there you go. And because I do expect them to move the ball well, so the opportunity should be there.
I mean, the total in that game's 54, so points are going up.
Yeah.
And without your, best red zone weapon in Eckler, you would expect that some of those drives may stall and need field goals.
All right. On that note, I'll go
Last
with
one.
my third
Save the best for last.
third best bet is the Raiders' first quarter money line.
All right, I lied. What?
What?
Yeah,
I said saving the best for last.
That is the best for last.
Saving the
Raiders'
best
first
for
quarter
last,
money
yeah.
line -122 FanDuel. Steelers lead the league in for the most 3 and outs with 14 this year, where the Raiders are tied with Baltimore for the lowest at 3 and outs. The Minkah Fitzpatrick could miss this game. He got hurt on that low tackle of Chubb. It would
He
already
went
been,
back in, though, didn't he?
I think he did, but they said he's just still dealing with it. They already lost Cam Hayward, but for the first quarter specifically, this stat is actually pretty mind-boggling. Through 2 games, not only have they not scored a point on offense in the first quarter, they don't even have a first down in the first quarter. The Steelers this year,
Wow.
They scored 7 last week, but that's because they had the early pick
Yep.
6 on Watson. It wasn't offensive. Raiders have scored a first quarter touchdown in both games, so even when they got boat raced by the Bills last week, they did put up an early touchdown. No one trusts Matt Canada to be creative. I don't know if you guys saw the quote he had today, but it was like, if anyone knows what to do, like, you let me know, like how to get the mojo back in the offense. It's like, Jesus,
It's really
that's
good when
brutal.
you're crowdsourcing ideas.
That's brutal. And the Raiders should get Jacoby Myers back this week. I think even if it's low scoring in the first quarter, Carlson can hit from anywhere. So I think 3-0 at the worst in this one.
Hey, random person in chat, what kind of microphones do you think we should use, and what do you think the topics of the show should be?
That's so funny because Evan actually texted me what stuff we use for the show.
Yeah, I was like, here's what I use, and here's what BM uses. Don't buy his, and you can't afford mine.
Exactly. So yeah, I like that. It does have push potential, but I think we got 3 winners. I mean, coming off a 3-0 week last week, vibes are high.
9 winners. 9 winners. 9 winners.
Yes, that's what I said. Yeah, 9, or that's what I meant to
You
say.
said 3. There's 9 winners. I hope
9
you only have
winners.
3.
Yeah, we're gonna go 9-0. Build off of last week, and keep it running.
I agree. All right. So now's my favorite segment. I've been waiting for this. Shall we get into in your DMs? DM, the floor is
Let me
yours.
bow my head and stay silent.
I'm ready. All right.
He's gonna mute us anyway.
Yeah, I am. All right, so the floor is mine, and this message is for one person and one person only. And I know you're gonna see this, you dickhead. Arthur Smith. Probably the worst Arthur of all time in my book already. And I can't think of that many. I can think of the cartoon, who I always hated. And there was that movie that got remade with Russell Brand, who's also apparently a dickhead now. So You're not in great company, and I still have you as the worst one. And I'm going to tell you why. And it stems back from what we've been talking about, a certain B. Robinson, as you may know, or Bijan Robinson. You have had 8 red zone appearances in 2 weeks, 3 in week 1, and 5 in week 2. Here's how many times Bijan has touched the ball in those situations. 4 carries and 2 catches. Are you joking me? He was a first round pick, a top 10 pick. Have you seen what this guy has done? He's run for, I think, like 180 yards in 2 games. So there's clearly no problem with his performance. And yet you get inside the 20 and you're like, it's Desmond Ridder time. It has never been, and it will never be Desmond Ridder time. And if you don't figure it out soon, you're going to lose your goddamn job. And I'm going to dance on your grave. Tyler Algier has 8 carries inside the opposing 20. Kyle Pitts does not have a reception inside the opposing 20. What are you doing here? It's amazing that they got out with a win against Green Bay. They didn't deserve it. They don't deserve to ever win anything again until they start using the actual good players on their team and stop giving the ball to the bad ones.
Well, I mean,
And that's why I'm on the Lions by 3.
And just so you
The
know,
Lions by a million.
just to get Dan
He's
even
right.
more, even more heated. You know who the second highest favorite for Coach of the Year is? Arthur Smith.
It is. Yeah. It's just.
I'm not putting the camera
Like,
back on me. I can't
It's
do it.
amazing because that team isn't. It's like they run a negative game script, and like Desmond Ridder, like you said, is fetch, and he's never going to happen.
Yeah, no. I mean, I was happy that they won for the show bet last week, but they definitely did not. Should not have won that game.
There may be a win in the win-loss column, but they didn't win that goddamn game.
They didn't win your heart.
They didn't win
Well,
anything.
no, not unless
They won.
Bijan-
They won being in my crosshairs for in your DMs. So
There's going to be a game, and it's going to happen probably like week 12 because at that point we're going to say like screw them. But Bijan's going to have 3 touchdowns, and it's going to be by that point we're just going to have moved
I'm already
on.
off of it. I can't imagine with everything that I just gave out that his anytime touchdown is like favorited. I can't believe it, and I can't touch it.
It's just because of that Lions defense, I guess. But
Unbelievable.
Algier's getting like 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I might bet him for 2 because clearly he's the one getting the work. It's so annoying.
Well, I guess speaking of touchdowns, I guess we should rip over to the fistful of TDs.
What a segue, bravo.
Thanks, man.
Fistful of titties. Yeah, that was a very good segue. Good
You're
job.
getting good.
Yeah,
Without a monitor too.
yeah. I can't even see Berg, so we're living. I guess I'll start. I'm taking Chris Olave for our live build of the touchdown parlay. He hasn't scored yet. He's been crushing it. I think he has 80+ yards in both games. I don't know I know, Dan, you said you watched a good amount of the Saints Panthers, but he had like 3 or 4 plays in the end zone, a couple plays that Derek Carr, the ball was a little too high, couldn't come down with it. He's getting targets. Rashid Shaheed's good, but he's more of the burner in the middle of the field. Once he gets in the red zone, I think Olave's the guy. They still don't have they're on to their 3rd running back, and they had a random dude, Tony Jones, come in and had his first
Literally like
touchdown.
a creative player name, by
What
the
happened
way.
to Jamal Williams? He
He had he had an injury in the first game, and then the second game, and then they were mixing in. But they do get that rookie Kendre Miller back. But I think 2-1 for Olave is where I saw most places. I'm gonna have to build this after I finish here, but I think in that game against the Packers, the other good thing is everyone talks about Jair Alexander and how good the secondary is. Drake London came out of nowhere when nobody wanted to bet him, and he had a solid game and scored last week. So I think Olave gets one here, maybe even 2.
I like it. I am on Zay Flowers. Whose Flowers? Zay. Let's give us Zay Flowers. Plus 175. 4 red zone targets against Houston, 1 against Cincy. They're very clearly trying to get him the ball. He has the highest target share. He has the highest yard share on the team. I know it's not apples to apples, but like the last time that Lamar played the Colts was 0-1. There's actually like a couple of guys who are still on the team. Through 4 TDs. So I don't know. And they're obviously trying to pass it more. I wanted to find a way to get. I wasn't sure if I wanted to take a Lamar TD or whatever it is, but I think Zay Flowers gets in the end zone on this. It's really good matchups. So yeah, give me Zay Flowers plus 175 in this fistful of TDs.
Spicy.
Nice.
All right.
I like it. I mean, just to piggyback on that, Nico Collins, absolutely. He's a little quick, kind of quick guy as well. He had a day last week for the Texans versus the Colts, so I like it.
All right, I'll close this one out. I'm going back to the well with Keenan Allen. I mentioned that game is a very high total, so points are going to get scored. He's plus 135. No Austin Eckler. Oh my God, what's his name? Justin Herbert has been incredible so far. And even though I think the Vikings are frauds and they're terrible, Cousins has been airing it out too. So I think this game is definitely going to give Lions, Seahawks vibes. I would be surprised if this isn't the favorite for highest scoring game on Sunday. So maybe still worth it, but we'll see. But yeah, Keenan Allen will round out our fistful of TDs.
Yeah, I'm just live building it now. It looks like I'm getting around 18-1 on DraftKings.
Ooh, that's solid.
I want to see. We are going to take a look at this as well on FanDuel. For some reason, they don't want to have touchdown odds up for the Ravens game. So I know a lot of people out there. Check your promos. Check your boosts.
Sunday fun day, baby.
Sunday fun day.
Wait,
claim
that's
them.
not with a boost. That's just 18-1.
That's 18.
On its own.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
18-1 on
just
DraftKings
DraftKings.
on its own.
Pretty nice. That's a good use of the
No, you can do it for no
Sweat
sweat.
free.
No
Yeah, the
sweat.
no
Yeah.
sweat
Oh,
Sunday.
true.
I actually almost just did just to get a bet on it, but I am very very curious to see what it is boosted as well. Definitely over 20-1. So yeah, I definitely I like all three of those. I think we're gonna get a winner. We had a week off last week because we had the Thursday night SGP, which my leg was the one that killed it. I'm sorry. I'm
Two out
sorry.
of three have been hitting every week, so
Yeah,
we're very
due.
close.
We're so due.
Yeah, we only had two shots at it, and I think I think this is going to be the week. We got three receivers, pass heavy Sunday. I think it happens for us. So with that, I think we are good for a nice little recap.
Yeah, I'll
DM.
sum up our best bets here for everybody who just wants to get to the good stuff. So my top three plays for the week were Brian Robinson over 56.5 rushing yards with a kicker of taking 75 plus as well. Keenan Allen over 22.5 yards for his longest reception. And Derrick Henry over 89.5 all-purpose yards or rushing plus receiving at minus 115. I am 3-3 on the season, coming off a 1-2 week. BM's top plays are the Lions first half spread minus 1.5. Josh Allen over 29.5 or over 30.5 rushing yards, whichever you can get. And the Raiders first quarter money line at minus 124. BM 3-0 last week.
Yes.
To be 4-2 on the season.
Sweet
And
flex.
and Berg, who's at 1-5 on the year, but did get on the board last week at 1-2, has the Lions -3 with a sidebar of fuck Desmond Ritter, which I fully endorse. Rashad, I just have to make sure we get that in there as many times as possible. Rashad White under 47.5 rushing yards, and Dicker the kicker over 1.5 field goals at even money.
Yeah,
that sounds like a 9-0 week.
It sounds like a big winners. Yeah. Look, we appreciate everybody coming through and doing this. This has been fun. This is actually like my favorite episode that we've done of the three because like I feel like we got football talk in too. Like we're not just speeds and feeds. This is good.
Yeah.
This is really good.
It feels good because I actually drank water today, which the last time we recorded, I don't think that an ounce of water touched my lips that whole day. So
you edited out the snoring man that was in the room too.
Kicked out the store.
Yeah, we
man
said,
that
yo,
was in
you
the
got
room.
to
Told
go,
him,
man.
We Dicker the kickered him out.
All right, final words going around. One final word, Birdman.
Weather. I'll go with weather this week.
All right, Dan.
One word.
Yeah,
I didn't think of this beforehand.
we never do, and then
It's
but
good
it's still,
though.
It's a good bit.
Feed.
Feed. Okay.
Adam, send us home.
Domes.
Ooh.
Oh, feed weather domes.
Feedweather Domes. It's like a Malcolm Gladwell book name generator.
Oh,
It's it's just,
Sounds like a homeless
um
shelter after a hurricane.
Here's how I build an NBA player full of white people from Africa.
all right, everyone. Thanks for coming by. This is the Bird and Berg Show. You can follow us. Obviously, if you got here, you somehow followed us on at Bird and Berg on every single social channel. Like, share, subscribe, and tell us what you did like and tell us what you don't like. Thanks again for coming.
I really thought BM was going to appreciate the Bird Gang
Oh.
pennant for Bird and
Ooh.
Bird.
I 100% love it. At first I couldn't even see what when you had it over there before you put it on, but yeah, I love that.
It's the show chain now.
I still have the picture of the bird. I still have to hang up somewhere.
Oh
But,
yeah, dude, that
yeah.
thing's awesome.
But I want to say thanks everyone for showing up. We will get the live popping in the future weeks, but no, definitely a good episode 3, and it's gonna be a profitable Sunday. I can just feel it.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
All right, all socials at Bird and Berg, Twitch, YouTube, even though none of it works. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. We'll figure it out. Love you guys.
Check us out for some weekend videos as well for some additional plays.
Yeah, socials for extra plays and all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks, everybody.